And, you know, where are you from?
Yeah. So I'm Kerry. Hi. I'm 17. I was born and raised in the south of England. When I was 10 is when I started acting professionally. I did sort of musical theatre stuff up until I was about 12, and then that's when I started doing TV and film and all that stuff, which is fun. Yeah, and I'm still in school. That's about it.
Staying in school.
Stay in school, kids.
But how did you get started?
So I used to dance a lot when I was younger, and then I was in the choir at school, kind of just combined it. And then it was a neighbour of mine who was she was in a community sort of thing, with theatre shows and sort of mashups and stuff. And so I did a couple of them when I was about 8 or 9. And then my mum found auditions online for like actual sort of amateur musical theatre shows, and I did some of those. And then someone who was in those with me showed me how to audition for West End stuff. So that's how it started, really.
And how did Game of Thrones, like, how did that happen?
When I did a show in the West End, there was a few people on there who have agents, and they showed me the ropes and stuff like that. And I got an agent, and the agent found the audition for Game of Thrones, and yeah, I just went for it.
What's an audition like? What did you have to do?
So
you were 12.
Yeah, I mean, generally you just sort of you get sent a script. Obviously with Game of Thrones it was all very, very secretive, so we didn't know the name, we didn't know anything like that. It was just a script, and you go in, they ask you some stuff like your name, your age, your agent, like that, just to get to know a bit more about you. And then you do the script and the scene that they've prepared, or sometimes they don't give you anything and you just go in, and yeah, it all depends really. And then you find out maybe a couple of weeks later whether or not you've got the part.
Yeah, you did. So did anybody not see Game of Thrones in here? Good. Oh, there's 2 of them.
Who isn't up to date? Shame on you guys. Well, I'm not
Okay,
gonna be careful with any of my answers, so.
Right, there's gonna be spoilers for you. So go like that, and we're all good. Okay, talk a little bit about what it's like to be Shireen Baratheon.
It was a lot of fun. It was nice to play a sweet character in a world of evil. I like playing her because she was very easy. She was quite an easy character to play because she was always very happy, just sat reading a book or really nice conversation. There wasn't any major challenges up until you know what. So yeah, it was just a nice simple role, which was, yeah.
And can you just, because I want to remember to ask this question about the outfit and the way they did it, because we talked about this in the interview yesterday, and I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, so the detail that goes into the costumes is incredible. So the costume that Shireen had, I had a jacket that it came about to my elbows, and it was almost like a crop jacket, so it came to about here. And on the collar, it had loads of random items on it that had been sewn in. They were very, very small, like you could barely see them, obviously, unless you were looking for them. And they were just very roughly sewn in, sort of looked a bit childish. And I said, what are these for? And the costume people said, well, she would have gotten so bored at some point, so she probably would have sewn her own outfits together and made them her own. So the detail goes down to that, guys. It's incredible. So they managed to take it. They managed to reduce the time. And then it would take it used to take about an hour to take off, and then I started helping out. So like, my makeup artist would take off from here, and I would start on the neck, and we'd just meet in the middle and make the process a lot faster. But yeah, that's, in general, that's how long it took.
Did you get a chance to claim the throne here at Comic Con?
Sorry?
Did you get a chance to claim the throne here at Comic Con? It's set up somewhere around
Yes,
here.
yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday I saw the throne, yeah.
Would you post a selfie of that? I think that would be pretty cool.
Sorry?
Post a selfie of that, probably.
You actually have one, right? At another Comic Con where you at the throne?
Yeah, yeah.
With
So I've
friends or?
Well, there's thrones at every Comic Con, I guess. But yeah, no, I saw the one. I saw this one yesterday. I saw the one here yesterday, and I had a couple of pictures on it and stuff. So.
Okay, we got a question in the front.
Hi. Death in Game of Thrones are obviously very brutal. Your co-star's reaction to your death, what was it? Because I'm sure you're all are friends, even though you all hate each other on the show.
Yeah, so I guess everyone was just sort of horrified. Everyone actually found out before I did. Because they all got the scripts, but because I was under 16, I never got the scripts. I would just get sent my scenes as they were coming, so it would be sort of 2 weeks before we were due to film a scene, and then they would send the script through for it. So I was just getting them as they came, and everyone else got the scripts at the beginning of the season, but just decided not to tell me about it. They just assumed that I knew. But yeah, I mean, it was. I think everyone was very, very shocked that they actually decided to go through with it.
We got a question right here.
Hi. You just mentioned your age being a bit of a threshold for some things. I mean, you were much younger when you started filming, so how much could you actually see when Game of Thrones came out? Because lots of it isn't quite, child material.
So I wasn't allowed to watch it up until I did my first Comic Con. So that was in 2014. So I think I was just about to turn 15, and that was because I was due to do a Q&A at this Comic Con, and I knew nothing about it whatsoever. So my mum kind of said, right, you kind of need to watch it. So I've watched it all apart from all of the recent season, but I know what happens, so it's fine. And yeah, so what would happen is all of the children, anyone under, so in the industry, 16 is an adult. So anyone under 16 wouldn't get the scripts because, no one wants an under 16-year-old reading that stuff. So the funny thing is, when we went to the script reads, they would sort of tone it down because they would read all the stage directions and stuff, and they would tone it down for the children, but they would forget that we can read. So they would be sat there changing inappropriate words that they'd written and changing them into the appropriate word for it, but we can read it. So but in general overall they are very good at making sure that the kids don't see what they shouldn't see.
Question down here. I think the panda was first.
Hi. So, how do you feel about Stannis, and is he still the true king?
No. He's not even alive. So no, he's not. He is not anymore. Well, not in my opinion. But I guess if he was still alive, then still no.
Another one right here.
Hi, so first I'd like to say that you're my favorite character on the show. Like, Shireen was awesome and I really liked her. We all know what happens, then she dies and all, and we've talked about that. But what kind of queen do you think she would have become if she had sat on the Iron Throne at the end?
I think everyone would have an A star in English. Everyone would be able to read. I think she would be, to be fair, I don't think she'd last very long. Because, you know what they say, you can't be a sweet ruler. You know, you've got to have that, you've got to have kind of like a bite in you to be able to rule a kingdom, and I think she would have been good for a while, but unfortunately, in the world of Game of Thrones, if you're innocent and sweet, you don't last very long.
We got a question all the way in the back.
Hi. Which scene? I got two questions. Which scene would you have loved to play that was not in the script, like Jon Snow and Daenerys visiting Dragonstone, or?
What do you mean, a scene that I was involved in that I would have liked to have
characters you would have liked to play with?
Oh, yeah, I would have liked to have worked with, well, there's a lot of people that I would have loved to have worked with, but probably Peter Dinklage is one of them. It would have been really cool to work with him. There's quite a lot of my favourite actors that I kind of look up to that I didn't get a chance to work with, but yeah, so Peter Dinklage is definitely one of them, and hopefully somewhat in the future I could work with him.
I forgot my second question.
We got one in the front.
I also have two questions. I can remember both. Who do you think should sit on the Iron Throne?
I got this one yesterday, and I was gonna say Hodor, but they took that away from me. So, in an ideal world, Tyrion, because he would be the kind of king to think things through before he takes any action, and I think he would probably last quite a long time, and he would be a king that everyone would remember.
And if you couldn't play Shireen, what character would you have liked to play?
Brienne. She gets a sword. She gets to do fighty stuff. I read a book. Yes, and I would love to at some point be able to fight to do a scene with a sword. That would be cool.
Right here.
So it sounds like you've basically been very focused on acting from very, very early on in your years, but in terms of other actors in the general world of acting, you mentioned some of your role models, for instance, in Game of Thrones, but what kind of actors or actresses, who are sort of your main inspirations, or what would you really like to become yourself as an actor? What would be sort of a grand success criteria for you in your future career?
I think I would just like to continue doing kind of this stuff. I think I'd like to do some action movies. I think that would be fun, getting to do sort of like stunty stuff and all that kind of thing. I think I really look up to Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's great. I'd like to maybe work with her or do kind of the films that she kind of does, all the action stuff. So, I mean, I love acting in general, so I'm open for sort of any kind of genre. But in general, I mean, I've never done anything stunty, so that would be fun.
Question in the back.
There seems to have been developed a trend of kings dying. How soon do you think Jon Snow might be off?
Well, he's already gone once.
Exactly.
I guess. I don't know. He lasted a fairly long time till he was killed, but he came back. So I don't know. Maybe he'll come. I guess it depends on how much people want to kill him. He seems to be he doesn't seem to be someone that everyone wants to kill, apart from the people that did want to kill him, but they're dead, so I don't think they'll be coming back after him, but I think he would, I think he's going to last a long time.
Have a question here? The lady first, and the guy in the middle, and in the back.
This is not about Game of Thrones. I was just wondering, how was it like being on Doctor Who and having to sing there a few years ago?
It was terrifying. It was the biggest audience that I've ever performed to in my life. So there was 5,000 people at the Albert Hall, and then I was later told that it was going to be broadcasted to like 40 million, and that just made my heart shrivel. But it was so much fun because I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and so I walked in and I freaked out. I was just walking down the hallway, and then Matt Smith just strolls on by, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it took me like half an hour to go and say hi. But he was really lovely, and I loved working on it. I was really sad that it was only a couple of days, but it was amazing. I had so much fun. I had so much fun doing it, and the costumes are incredible again. The makeup guys, you know, they had to do all the makeup as well, and you know, all my family came down, and it was incredible. Like all of the stuff, all the people coming out in the audience, and it was just really fun. It was great.
There was one in the middle here. Yes, white shirt.
Well, hello. I'm a bit of a linguistic, but I can't place your accent. Can you do that?
It's Southern English, so just general London. Well, I'm from Ascot, so just sort of general London accent.
And one more here.
Hello. How do you feel like they are ending the series in season 8?
I think they know what they're doing. I know that it's not as long as you guys maybe would have liked, but I feel like they are going to get a lot done in the short seasons that they have. I feel that because you've got such an incredible team behind the show, that it won't matter how many episodes there are, it's going to be insane. I mean, because each season just gets better and better and better. And with it going, with the next 2 seasons going to be the last 2, I think they're going to absolutely top everything that they've ever done. So do not worry, guys.
You got one.
Did you get to keep a item from the set, or maybe stole one or something?
Yeah, so I stole the stag. There was 5 of them. I stole one, Liam stole one. One broke, one was burnt, and the other went to the production company. So I stole that. Stole little hair ties, so my hair would be tied with little leather ribbon things. That would be really cool. I stole a couple of those, but I don't know if I've still got those. And then apart from that, I've got 2 moulds of my face in my room from makeup tests. One is solid and one is spongy. And one of them has the makeup on it and one of them doesn't, and the one that doesn't is a bit creepier. And yeah, they're just on a shelf. They're just on a shelf in my room.
And your sister took your makeup too, right?
Yeah. My sister so my makeup would come off as one, and my sister just decided one day that she wanted one. She came to visit in season 3 and she just decided that she wanted something that came off of my face. I don't know if she still got it, but there was a point in time when she wanted it for some reason.
All the way in the back.
I would like to try to just tap into your mind, how an actress mind works. So the scene where your final minutes are occurring. What do you think about when because those are heartbreaking screams. I mean, those just burns your bones, you know. How do you get those emotions? What do you think about? How do you? You're trying to tap into your mind about.
I think the problem with, the only thing with that scene is it was a difficult scene because I couldn't relate it to anything that's ever happened to me. I mean, with any traumatic scene, you can kind of relate it to something that's maybe happened to you, but I think that was definitely the most challenging part. But so I just, in that moment, I just decided to do it in just pure determination, just to get someone to take me away from the scene, and that's how I played it. I just, it was more just pleading for someone to, make it all stop. And so, yeah, I just kind of did those screams like that, and it was a very challenging scene to do. As fun as it was, there was still that thing of, well, how do I relate this to my life? And I couldn't.
Okay, here.
Is there a scene that's been cut that you wish wasn't? So something where you, done but was cut, it was really was there for meaning or something?
Not for me personally. The only scene that I ever shot that was cut it wasn't even a scene, it was just kind of like a pan across, so Shireen was kind of not painting, but sketching out a dragon from one of her books, and then it went through the window to a different scene. That was it. It was just a little pan, and that was the only scene that I shot. That was the only thing that I ever shot that wasn't used. I don't know about many of the others. I don't know if there were any scenes that were cut.
Any last questions? There's one here.
I just wanted to ask if you have like a favorite scene or favorite episode or something in the series.
My favourite scenes are any of the ones at the Night's Watch, because it was a very different atmosphere to all the other scenes that I've done. Going from a room with sort of one person there to a room with 30 people there, it was really fun, and I really enjoyed all of those scenes. Any of those scenes were my favourite ones.
Okay, second to last question. Oh, right here. Yeah.
I was wondering now, moving forward, you said at the very beginning you're still in school and you're currently filming on the Netflix original, but how do you combine that? How do you see yourself graduating from school and moving forward with your career?
So, in theory, I only have one. I've only got a couple of years left of school, so I guess I would just do what I've been doing all the time, which is I miss school that I have to miss, and then I go back and I either get my work at the end of the shoot, or I get it halfway through, or I get it sent to me, and then I just do it as extra work. Luckily, all my courses at the moment are just coursework, so it is stuff that I can do at home. I struggled a bit with photography because I couldn't take that home with me. I wasn't allowed to because it was sort of my exam pieces and they had to be in school. But now the courses that I do, it's just all coursework, so it's just a case of managing my time so that I get it all done. But yeah, in the future, I guess I would just continue doing that to make it work.
Last question right here.
If you should get
Can you do it in Danish and we'll translate it?
No, I should be able to do it in English. What I will ask you if you should give an advice to kids on how to be an actor, what would that be?
Definitely to stay in school. Not to make acting their number one priority. To make sure that if you are acting as a kid, that it's a hobby. It's not a job. You shouldn't treat it like a job. It only becomes a job when you need to pay bills. Other than that, it should just be pure fun, and if you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be doing it. And just to never let anyone mould you into something that you're not, because you think that's how the industry should be. Just always make sure you stay yourself. Don't try and be anyone that you're not, just because people are telling you that that's how you should be. Casting directors, they cast based on your personality. They don't cast, I mean, yeah, they do. For children, for adults, yeah, they cast you on your talent, but for children, they like to see you. They don't want to see a stage diva walking in thinking that they're better than everyone. I mean, if you've got a 13-year-old coming in thinking they're the best, they're not. That's not what people want. And so it's just to be you.